Alright people, so we will continue with the human heart form, and we have seen how the myocardial wall is, what cells is it made up of, what is the superior and inferior vena cava, how many valves do we have in the auricular ventricular separation or between the conducting tubes. So what carries what to the blood, to the heart. Okay, now we will see the conduction system of the heart. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to encounter here is sinoatrial node. But before we understand sinoatrial node, we need to have a very clear concept of what the heart is. So heart basically generates autorhythmicity, which means the rhythmic contraction and expansion that is generated in the heart is an auto generated impulse. It is not under neural control. Okay, so the heart works pretty independently. It generates rhythmicity, and this is not dependent on the nervous system. This rhythmicity generated by the heart is not dependent on the nervous system. It can only slow down or fasten the beats. So the nervous system can just slow down or fasten the beats, but it cannot impact the entire rhythmicity of the heart is auto generated. It is not dependent on the external nervous system. So heart is made up of obviously cardiac muscle fibers, and these are specialized neuromuscular cells in the myocardium. So in the myocardium there are specialized neuromuscular cells, and this is how the heart behaves. Now if we look into the sinoatrial node, which is a very important part of the heart, it is generally present in the heart of mammals. The sinoatrial node is present in the heart of mammals. It is a specialized area of cardiac muscle fibers called sinoatrial node. This is basically a specialized area of cardiac muscle fibers, and that's the reason it is known as sinoatrial node. The location is near the entrance of the superior vena cava. It is basically located near the entrance of the superior vena cava, which is carrying the blood from the upper part of the body to the heart. So on the right atrium, so as we have seen, it is basically located on the top of the right atrium. So as we have seen in fishes, we had the sinus venosus, which was undergoing modification, and it was hardly present when it actually came into reptiles, and finally in mammals it disappeared. It kind of fused with the heart, with the right atrium. So at the start we had seen, at the start of the structure of the human heart, we have seen that the sinus venosus is basically fused with the right atrium, and this is the remnant of sinus venosus, that is the sinoatrial node. The sinoatrial node is a remnant of the sinus venosus, which we find predominantly or pretty exclusively in fishes and in amphibians as well. Okay, so this, which is fused with the right atrium, this is also known as the pacemaker. This is basically known as the pacemaker. Many a times you must have seen that people have pacemakers installed in their hearts. So it needs to be understood that the sinoatrial node is no longer functioning properly, because of which an external battery system has been fit into the heart. Okay, so as it generates each wave of cardiac impulse, so this is what generates the cardiac impulse. The fibers of sinoatrial node have the ability of self-excitation. Okay, so these are basically self-excited and they do not need any external stimulation. Okay, and control the rate of the entire heartbeat. They control the rate of the entire heartbeat. High concentration of sodium ions in the extracellular fluid and negative ions inside the nodal fibers. There is a high concentration of sodium ions in the extracellular fluid and negative ions. So basically an electric potential is generated. So sodium ions tend to enter inside due to their high concentration and presence of open channels. So because of this, so this is called the membrane potential, which is high, and the action potential is generated. We will look more into it. Okay, due to the membrane potential, which is very high, action potential is generated, and this excites the sinoatrial node. So pretty much complicated. We will simplify and see how exactly the conducting system of the heart actually works. Okay. Okay, so before we start on with the entire conduction system of the heart, okay, we need to have a general idea of certain terms which are involved. Okay, so first of all we have the pacemaker. What is basically the pacemaker of the heart? So structure of the heart from which the impulses of the heartbeat are produced. So basically the impulses are produced, as we all know, in the sinoatrial node, a remnant of sinus venosus, and is very important because these impulses travel throughout the heart. There is a specialized mechanism through which the entire impulses are transferred throughout the heart. Excitability means ability of a tissue to give response to stimulus. So there is a stimulus which is created due to potential difference, and that's how we will see the entire mechanism, but these are general terms which we need to be aware of before we start with the process. So there is something called as excitability, that is ability of the tissue to give response to stimulus. Okay. Resting membrane potential. Now what is this resting membrane potential? It is basically the potential difference across the cell membrane. So across the cell membrane, whatever potential differences we have, that is known as the resting membrane potential under resting condition. So when the heart is at rest, or when the cells are at rest, the potential, that is difference. So understand this, as it is an orthorhythmic center, there has to be a potential difference. It's working like a battery. A battery will work on a potential difference. So this battery is working on a potential difference, and there has to be a resting member potential. So potential difference, that is across the cell membrane. So let's say here we have the cell membrane, there is an extracellular fluid and there is an intercellular fluid which is the cytoplasm. So whatever potential differences we have across this is known as the resting member potential. Okay. So resting membrane potential under resting conditions. Action potential, contraction of the cardiac muscles initiated by the electrical impulses. So what happens is there is an exchange of ions. The sodium ions and the potassium ions get through an exchange pump and are transferred. So contraction of cardiac muscles initiated by electrical impulses. So these are electrical impulses which are generated due to the transfer of ions. Depolarization is basically the initial phase of action potential. The action potential is still not being generated, so just the initial phase of action potential is known as depolarization, in which inside of muscle becomes and outside becomes negative. So the inside of the muscle becomes positive and the outside becomes negative. Repolarization, what is repolarization? Muscle reverses back to the resting membrane potential. So it reverses back to its resting member potential. I know it might sound very confusing, what is this and what are the actual things that are happening, but when we learn in the due course of time what and how this entire rhythm is generated, we will have a better picture of what is happening here. Okay. Okay, so we will now talk about the different aspects of circulation of blood. Okay, so in circulation of blood, we basically know that the heart is the primary organ which is involved. So we call in mammals, particularly in humans, here we are studying the human heart, as double circulation. The reason why it is called double circulation, we all know, is because the blood that is supplied to organs or organ systems is crossing the heart twice. So the blood which is supplied to the different organ systems is crossing the heart twice. So now we have two types of circulations. One is known as the systemic circulation and the other one is known as the pulmonary circulation. The systemic circulation is also known by the name of greater circulation, and the pulmonary circulation is also known by the name of lesser circulation. Okay, so what happens in systemic circulation? To and from body parts. Okay, so the blood is basically transferred to the heart and from the heart to the various body parts. So the blood from the various body parts reaches the heart, and the blood from the heart reaches to the various body parts. So it is basically carried out by left ventricle, and we'll see that how. Okay, so let's see this. So and pulmonary is also known as lesser circulation. The organs or the ventricles and the auricles involved here are these. So let's understand this. First what happens is, we can start from anywhere basically. The deoxygenated blood is entering the right auricles. Okay, the right auricles. Now these right auricles, from right auricles it passes into the right ventricle. From the right ventricle through the pulmonary artery it goes on to the lungs, and after this is basically deoxygenated blood. After the oxygenation happens, it is carried by the pulmonary veins back to the left atrium. Okay, so if you see, right ventricles and left auricles are just a connection between heart and the lungs. So here the deoxygenated blood is coming from the right auricle. The right ventricle is pumping this deoxygenated blood to the lungs, and from the lungs the oxygenated blood is carried by the pulmonary veins to the left auricle. So this entire right ventricle and left auricles are only connected to the lungs. Their function or their interaction is with the lungs. They are not interacting with the body parts or organ tissues. Okay, right ventricle receiving the deoxygenated blood pumps the deoxygenated blood into the lungs. The lungs get the blood converted into oxygenated blood and they pump it back to the left auricle. So it is basically, they are in direct contact only with the lungs, and hence we'll call this as pulmonary circulation or lesser circulation, which happens between the right ventricle and left auricles and between the lungs Okay, now we'll talk about the greater circulation. Greater circulation means the blood being carried to and from the various body parts or organ systems. Okay, so here we have systemic circulation, in which what happens is the vena cavas, the superior, inferior, including the coronary sinus, are carrying the deoxygenated blood to the right atrium. Okay, after the left auricle receives that oxygenated blood, it is carried on to the left ventricle. So this is carried on to the left ventricle, and again the left ventricle pumps it to the aorta. So it actually, from the left ventricle, it is pumped into the aorta to the different organs of the body. So right auricle is receiving the deoxygenated blood from different organs of the body, and left ventricle is pumping the oxygenated blood to the different organs of the body. So these are directly in touch with the different organ systems of the body. So hence we call this system of left ventricle and right auricles as a part of systemic circulatory system. So if we draw a basically flow chart, we can start the flow chart from anywhere. So what happens is, let's say right ventricles. Okay, so if we take the right ventricles are receiving deoxygenated blood. The right ventricles are receiving deoxygenated blood from the right auricles, and they are pumping it to the lungs. The lungs, after the purification of blood or oxygenation of blood, are pumping the oxygenated blood through the pulmonary veins. So the right ventricle is receiving this deoxygenated blood from right auricles, and it is carrying, or rather pushing, this blood into the lungs from the pulmonary artery. So right ventricle, deoxygenated blood from the right auricles through the pulmonary arteries, it is pumping it into the lungs. The lungs, from the oxygenated blood via the pulmonary veins, is carrying this oxygenated blood all the way up to left auricles. Now left auricles are pushing this to the left ventricles. So left auricles are basically receiving this. Okay, yes, so they are basically, this is oxygenated blood that gets into the left ventricles, and from the left ventricles through the aorta or the systemic arc, it is pumped to the different body parts, different organs of the body, Now this is basically oxygenated blood. So after this oxygen has been used, this becomes deoxygenated blood to different vena cavas. It is basically reaching the right auricle through different vena cavas, superior vena cava, inferior vena cava. It reaches the right auricles, and from the right auricles it is pumped back into the right ventricle. So if we look at the top part of the system, right ventricles to left auricles, this is just between the chambers of the heart and the lungs. So the blood exchange is taking between the chambers of the heart and the lungs, and hence we will call this as pulmonary. This is basically pulmonary circulation. Here the exchange of blood takes place between the right auricles and the left ventricles. right auricles and the left ventricles and different organs of the body. So this type of circulation is known as systemic circulation. If you kind of want to remember this, it's very easy. Pulmonary is something that basically is connected between the heart and the lungs. Systemic, if you see aorta is basically the systemic arc, so systemic circulation. So through the aorta, the deoxygenated blood is pumped from the left ventricle to the various parts of the body, and through the vena cavas it is coming back into the right auricles. So this is called systemic circulation between the different organs of the body, and right auricle and left ventricle, whatever circulation is taking place, we will call this as systemic circulation. And between the right ventricles and left auricles and the lungs, whatever circulation is taking place, we will call this as pulmonary circulation. So these are two types of circulations, and hence we call this as a double circulation system or complete double circulation system, which is specifically seen in mammals and especially in human beings. Okay. Okay, conducting system of the heart, generation of impulse and its transfer. So as we see that the heart basically needs an impulse, and this impulse has to be transferred. So the primary thing that is used or rather involved in the generation of impulse is the sinoatrial node. Okay, so we know that these are special cardiac muscles. The special cardiac muscles, or these are known as nodules or tissues, and these are the ones which are either generating the impulse or carrying it further. So the first thing that we are going to learn is about the sinoatrial node, where it's generated, that is the pacemaker. The sinoatrial node is basically the one where it is generated, or the pacemaker. Okay, it has highest degree of autorhythmicity, that is approximately 7 to 80 times per minute. Okay, so 70 to 80 times per minute, that is the highest degree of autorhythmicity. So the pacemaker is basically a place where the nodes are automatically generated. The sinoatrial node, where it is generated, that is the pacemaker, has highest degree of autorhythmicity, which means that it automatically generates, automatic generation, automatic generation of rhythms. Okay, so has highest degree of autorhythmicity, that is approximately 70 to 80 rhythms per minute, and it has got the least conductivity. This is one important thing that we have to understand. In sinoatrial node, it has got the highest degree of autorhythmicity. Automatically the rhythms are generated, and it is generated 70 to 80 times per minute, and the least conductivity. Okay, this is basically, as we have all known, a remnant of sinus venosus. This is basically a remnant of sinus venosus, and this is merged with the right atrium. So we have seen that sinus venosus is basically an organ which is present. Sinus venosus is an organ which is present in the fishes, and finally it takes the shape of sinus venosus. Sinus venosus is present in fishes, and this basically takes the form of mammals. This basically shapes out in mammals. Sinus venosus is basically present in fishes, and this basically evolves in the mammals and in mammals the sinus venosus basically forms sinoatrial node. This basically forms the sinoatrial node. Okay, so the remnant of sinus venosus in right atrium, this sinus venosus basically takes the form. Okay, located on the wall of right atrium on the right side. So we will just, if we look into the heart, let's say this is basically the heart. Let's say this is basically the heart. We have the auricular ventricular separation here. These are basically the walls of the heart. These are the walls of the heart, and we have these ventricles out here. These are the ventricles. So this is basically the right atrium, left atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle. Okay, so this is how the heart would look like. This is how the heart would look like. Okay, now this is present at the junction of right atrium and right ventricle. So we have this part here, we have the superior vena cava here. So here we have the sinoatrial node, and this is basically generating impulses. Okay, so located at the wall of the right atrium on the right side, the right side of the right atrium, very close to the opening of the superior vena cava. So where is this sinoatrial node located? It is basically also known as the pacemaker of the heart. It generates impulses for the rhythmic contraction, and it is autorhythmic, which means that it is not based on the external nervous system, and it is an autorhythmic organ. It is generating 70 to 80 times per minute, but its conductivity is less. Okay, so it is a remnant of sinus venosus. As we all know that sinus venosus was something which used to collect blood in case of fishes, which in the different evolutionary pattern has evolved into the sinoatrial node. So it is located on the wall of the right atrium, right side, very close to the opening of the superior vena cava, Okay, the stimulus, so very close to the superior. Now what is happening here is this sinoatrial node is located here, very near to the superior vena cava. It generates impulses. Now these impulses, basically the stimulus is conducted at the rate of 1 meter per second. The impulses travel at the rate of 1 meter per second. So these impulses travel on to the AV bundle or AV node. Now where is this located? So this AV bundle is located out here at the junction. So here it is located. Okay, present at this is also known as the junction of, so these are also known as junction nodes, on the junction of right auricle and right ventricle on the side of the right atrium. So here the AV node is present. Travel to the AV bundle or AV node. So here this, we can say that this is the AV node. Okay, all right. So now it travels from here to here. So there is a time lapse. What is the time lapse? Sinoatrial node to AV node, it takes approximately 0.3 seconds. The impulse is traveling from the sinoatrial node to the AV node, and this time is approximately 0.3 seconds. The impulse from the AV node is traveling to the ventricles. Now this travels to the ventricles, and this time is approximately 1.5 to 4 meter per second. That's the speed, 1.5 to 4 meter per second. Why do we basically need an AV node? See, what happens is that the auricles and ventricles, between the auricles and ventricles is an annular pad, and this pad basically, it's an insulating layer. So it would not amplify or rather decrease the sinoatrial node's rhythmicity. So whatever rhythmicity the sinoatrial node is basically generating, it will die out if this node is not, the AV node is not present. If the AV node is not present, then it will die out. Why? Because it kind of is covered by an insulating layer. The purpose of the AV node is to amplify these rhythms which are generated, so that it goes to the bundle of his, because from here the bundle of his will basically conduct it to the ventricles, which will plumb the blood, and it is very important. Okay, so that's how the see, it gets generated in the SA node. From SA node it travels into the AV node, and from the AV node through the bundle of his it will travel into the ventricles. We will see the bundle of his part, but we need to understand that the AV node actually amplifies it. The AV node basically amplifies it. Alright people, so we will just discuss how the rhythmic thing that is generated from the sinoatrial node passes on to the different things. Okay, so here is basically the sinoatrial node, which is located in the right hand corner, top right hand corner of the right atrium, very close to the superior vena cava, and this basically generates the electrical impulses which happens to reach the AV node. AV node is present at the junction of the auricles and the ventricles, and this travels at the rate of 1 meter per second, and it takes approximately 0.3 seconds for the contraction or the impulse that is generated from the sinoatrial node to reach the AV node. Okay, so to reach the AV node, so AV bundle or bundle of His, this is also known as bundle of His, named after the scientist. Somewhere it is just a single S, in some places we have a double S here. Okay, now from the AV node, it actually branches out into two. So from the AV node it branches out into the two, and these are known as bundle of His, and these bundle of His basically further branch out, very fine network of branching out into the ventricular walls, and these are basically walls of ventriculars, and these are known as the branches of Purkinje fibers or Purkinje fibers. So the conducting system, if we look into it, the SA node, the impulses from SA node are carried all the way to AV node. Again, we saw why we would need an AV node. The reason we would need an AV node is because as we know that between the SA node and the AV, so there is band of fibrous tissue between the auricles and ventricles, and this is known as the annular band, and it basically lowers the conduction. So if it was only SA node, this impulse wouldn't have transferred so rhythmically or in a well mannered way. Okay, it would have died out. The impulse would have died out because between the auricles and the ventricles there is a band of fibrous tissue, and these are known as annular bands. Okay, this would basically lower the conduction of the impulses, and hence we would need an amplifier out here. So AV node acts as an amplifier of the impulses received by the SA node. SA node generates the impulses. It travels all the way up to the AV node, and here it is amplified. So if you look from SA node to the AV node, the impulses are traveling at the rate of 1 meter per second, but from AV node to the bundle of His or to the ventricular walls, it is traveling at a speed of 1.5 to 4 meter per second. So if you look, the impulses are amplified out here. Okay, so the SA node is basically known as the pacemaker, whereas the AV node is known as the pace setter. SA node is the one where the impulses are generated. AV node is the one where the impulses are transferred. So if we look into a myogenic heart, the impulses is generated by a muscle. In a myogenic heart, the impulses are generated by a muscle. These nodes are specialized muscles. These nodes are basically specialized muscles. In lower vertebrates, impulses come from the brain. So in higher vertebrates like us, the impulses are generated. This is autorhythmic, and hence we will also call this as autorhythmic, and hence it is known as myogenic heart. Myo means the muscles which are connected to the heart. Okay, and in lower vertebrates the impulses come from the brain, and hence they are known as neurogenic. So if we look at the entire conduction system, from the right auricle the impulses travel to left auricles, and there is hardly any time lapse. It just is immediate. Okay, so from the right auricles where the sinoatrial node is present, the impulses are generated and it passes on to the left auricles, both the ventricles at the same time, and it reaches both the ventricles at the same time. So there is no time lapse from right auricle to left auricle, but there is a certain time lapse, some time lapse from auricles to ventricles. So for this to travel from auricles to ventricles, there is a certain time lapse, but there is no time lapse for this to be spread out to the auricles. The moment it spreads out, it spreads out to both the auricles. Okay, so again, just to reconfirm things out here, a recap: sinoatrial node, the SA node generates the impulses, it passes to the AV node. The AV node basically amplifies these impulses. The reason why there has to be an AV node is because these impulses which are generated from the SA node, due to a thick fibrous tissue present between the auricles and the ventricles, these impulses tend to die out and they are not that effective. So the AV node amplifies these impulses. These impulses which were traveling at 1 meter per second from sinoatrial node get amplified by the AV node to a speed of 1.5 to 4 meter per second, and they travel through two bundles, and these are known as bundle of His. So they are traveling one to the left and one to the right. These are known as bundle of Hills. Again, Hills is somewhere written as HIS, in some places it is written as HISS, named after the scientist, of course. And from this they travel all the way up to the ventricular walls by a network of by a dense network. These are known as branches or Purkinje fibers. These are known as Purkinje fibers. So they are carrying this impulse all the way up to here. Okay, between the right auricle and the left auricle there is absolutely no time lapse of the rhythm or the impulses generated from the sinoatrial node, but there is a time lapse from here to here, from the auricles to the ventricles. Okay, so we have seen the conduction system. Our heart is myogenic. Why? Because it is autorhythmic. We don't have to depend on the nervous system to generate the rhythm or generate the impulses. It is basically, so we have a special sinoatrial node which is known as the pacemaker, and the AV node is basically the amplifier. So it is a self auto generated impulse, whereas in neurogenic animals the impulse is dependent on the nervous system. The nervous system has to become continuously associated with the generation of the impulse. Ours is an autorhythmic system. Okay.